All right. Not the best setup for today, but we make do with what we got. All right. So, kind of a recap quickly of week nine. Week nine was a good week. We got back on the board, boys. So, ended up finishing 6-3-2. So, six covers, three that didn't cover, and then two pushes. But I've always, as a gambler, blackjack, I've always counted a push as a win. So updating that 8-3 on the week updates my record to 37-42. So we're within reaching distance here of breaking even. So we got 7 weeks, 8 weeks of football, including week 10 plus the playoffs. So I'm feeling good about it. Just 2 games, I guess 3 games I felt good about from last week. Really happy about the picking the Lions over the Pack and the Jets over the Bills. I think both those were kind of unpopular picks, especially the Jets Bills. I don't think a lot of people thought the Jets would. Maybe people thought they could cover like the 11, but to go ahead and win outright, both those teams going ahead and winning outright within their division at home made me feel good about strongly recommending those picks last week. And then Titans plus 12 against Chiefs. Don't know if that was a popular pick, but I felt good about it the way that played out. Moving on to week 10. Can't live in the past. Skipping a lot of games this week. But first off, 8:30 game in Munich, Germany. Seattle at Tampa. Not thinking too hard about this one. Right now, Tampa's minus 2.5 point favorite. I mean, technically they're the home team, but this is a neutral site. It's over in Germany. Weird things happen over in those international games, so I don't like to bet them all that much. But I mean, Tampa's just been so bad, and Seattle has been hot. I think they're coming off like a 3 or 4 game winning streak. They're scoring points in every game. I'm just gonna ride if I can get Seattle plus two and it's Seattle plus 2.5. They're like 6-2, and Tampa's like 4-5 or whatever they are. I'll take Seattle the points, and I'm not gonna think too hard about it. Next game, Vikings at Bills. So a lot of stuff going on in this one. Josh Allen has a elbow injury. He might not play. It's actually looking more and more like Case Keenum is going to be the starting quarterback. So many things at play here. So it's at Buffalo. Vikings have kind of broken the curse a little bit. They historically have done really bad against backup quarterbacks. It's been like our kryptonite. But this year, we beat Teddy, Heineke. They just beat, who were both former Vikings quarterbacks, which cases as well. So that's kind of unique. I think there was one other game where we played a backup quarterback, Dalton, I guess technically, but we've done all right this year against backups. The thing is, though, so the spread has moved. It was like Bills -7. Now it's like Bills -3.5. It might move even more as if Josh Allen gets ruled out. But the problem, people are focusing on the Josh Allen side of the ball. Okay, the Vikings defense is bad. I think Buffalo will probably be able to move the ball and score points. Obviously, they'd be better off with Josh Allen, but I think they're going to be able to score 20 some points even with the backup quarterback. Uh, so then the other side of the ball, you got the Vikings offense, who they've messed around with some bad teams this year. We haven't played that many very good defenses. Like week 1 against the Packers, their defense wasn't that good in that game. The other time they played a good defense was the Eagles, and the Eagles defense wasn't even playing all that well, and the Vikings got smoked. I don't like the Bills defense. I understand they have some injuries, but that defensive line has just been swarming in every Bills game I watched. I don't think that's going to be good news for the Vikings offense, Vikings offensive line. So I'm just not going to touch this game now with the 10-foot pole. There's more to it than, I guess the point of going in depth here is there's more to it than just whether Josh Allen plays or not. It's a road game in Buffalo against that Buffalo defense, who's been pretty hot. So next game, Lions at Chicago. I'm taking so right now Chicago's favored -3. They've been able to score points in their last 3 games. People are getting excited about Justin Fields. He really hasn't been doing anything particularly special through the air, but he's scoring a lot of fantasy points. He's getting a lot of rushing yards. People like that fantasy. There's a big fantasy bias there. Ultimately, what I look at is both offenses. So Chicago's offense is hot. Their defense is terrible. Lions' defense is terrible. Lions' offense was hot, and they kind of cooled down a bit. But they cooled down against the Patriots, the Cowboys, and the Packers. And then they kind of bounced back. Well, they bounced back against the Pack a little bit last. They only scored 16 points or 15 points. So, yeah, they cooled off a bit. But going against the Bears, it's the weakest defense they played in a while. I think they're going to be all right. I think these are equal teams. If anything, I think the Lions are better. They have a better complement of weapons. Goff is okay. And then you have a good offensive line, a strong run game. Amon-Ra St. Brown. They lost Hawkinson, but I think the Lions offense can be fine. Chicago, on the other hand, you got Justin Fields, and that's about it. I know they got Claypool and Mooney, but they're really not doing anything special. And the Khalil Herbert has been able to be a competent flex, so the fantasy people like him, but nothing particularly too scary really there. So I'm if I can get the 3 points, I guess I'll take the Lions. Broncos at Titans. So right now the Titans are -3. I think that makes a lot of sense, but I have a hard time trusting the Titans. They under the Mike Vrabel Titans, they've won a lot of games. They made the playoffs, I think, every year. I mean, maybe not his first year, but the last 3 years they made the playoffs. I think last year they were the 1 seed. They quietly accumulate these wins. They're 5-3 right now. They quietly are, a very tough team. They win a lot of games, but they win a lot of games close. So it's really hard to trust the Titans ever with a spread. The Broncos have a good defense. It's at Titans, so these are pretty good defenses. Offenses that definitely struggle at times. Derrick Henry is obviously a good player, but does that mean the Titans are going to blow anyone out? -3 is just a little too... I just can't really trust that. I don't feel good enough about the Titans to really take that. Next game, Jaguars at Chiefs. This is so right now the Chiefs are -9.5 point favorites. I really don't like taking big spreads, especially on the minus side. This is one of the rare occasions I'm going to do it. I mean, the Jags are coming off a win against the Raiders, but the Jags defense awful. Their offense has been fairly dysfunctional of late. I know there were times where the offense looked okay, but pretty dysfunctional of late. Kansas City, they're going to be kind of mad. I know they end up getting the win against the Titans, but I think they're going to be coming out kind of looking to right some wrongs from that last week. And I think they're going to be hot, and I think they're going to blow out the Jags. So I'm going to take the Chiefs -9.5. I think if this game happened like a week ago, it'd probably be Chiefs -14, -15, -6. So I'll take -9.5. I think they can win it by that. Next game, Browns at Miami. Miami is currently a -3.5 point favorite, which is the side I don't want to take, but I'm just not going to touch this one. Both teams have been in a lot of close games. If you look at their past 3-4 games, Browns have been able to keep it close. They actually beat up on the Bengals last week. Miami has, early on in the season, their offense looked great. They've still won some games recently, but it's only been like by 3 points, 4 points here, 3 points there. I just don't trust them enough to go out and cover the 3.5. And I definitely don't trust the Browns to go bet the other side. So not touching it. Texans at Giants. All right, we're getting on this one. So right now, Giants are favored by -4.5. And I'm jumping on that for sure. The Texans, they're on a 3-game losing streak. And granted, some of these are decent teams, but the first one, so they lost by 18 to the Raiders. They lost by 7 to the Titans. Okay, the Titans are okay. And then they lost by 12 to Philly. And Philly, yeah, obviously Philly's good. But I don't see the Texans. They've been so dysfunctional. They've been so bad. I don't see them really snapping that. They're playing the Giants coming off a bye. Giants have what looks to be a pretty good coach in Brian Daboll. So coming off, he's gonna make use of that bye. The Giants are gonna come out ready to play. They got 6 wins. They have something to play for. The Texans, they have 1 win. Their season's already over. I think the Giants are gonna come out and win this game. And and I'll cede the -4.5. I just don't. The Texans have been so bad. I just don't know how you really. I guess I don't really see the argument for them coming out and competing this week. Saints at Steelers. Obviously, anything can happen in the NFL. Next game, Saints at Steelers. So right now the Saints are -1.5 point favorites at Pittsburgh. I don't love this, but the Steelers are bad. They've been losing a lot of games. The Saints have been in a lot of competitive games. Obviously, they got beat up on by the Ravens last week. Steelers are just really bad, though, so I think picking it when it's a -1.5 point spread, it just makes sense to pick against the Steelers. Unfortunately, they're a bottom 5 team in the NFL. So we'll take the Saints. Even though the Saints are a middle-of-the-road team, I'll take a -1.5, even at Pittsburgh. All right, moving into the afternoon games. Jesus. Colts at Raiders. Okay, so this one's a little off the wall. I'm not going to put that much on it, but Colts at Raiders. Right now, the Raiders are favored -4.5. Okay, I understand the Colts just fired their head coach, and we don't know who's going to be calling the plays. They're going to be a first-time play caller. Well, we do know who's going to. I forgot his name, but first-time play caller. Offense, no really truly leader of the offense at this point. But the thing is, the Raiders are awful, and they got injuries. Renfro, I think, just hit the IR. Darren Waller going on the IR. So it's, they still got, is Josh Jacobs hurt? I'm not sure. But, they still got Devontae Adams' Carr, but they've just been so bad this year. And the Colts defense has been pretty good. And the defense is maintaining a lot of continuity there. I'm pretty sure the defensive coordinator is still in place. All that defensive coaching is still in place, and the defense has played well. So if the defense can carry forward, the offense has been terrible. So who cares that they fired the offensive coordinator, they fired Frank Reich? If anything, that's an addition, addition by subtraction. So I think Jeff Saturday, he definitely got enough speeches in him to cover this week, to show up, get the boys going. I think the defense is good enough to keep them in that game. The Raiders are dysfunctional enough to keep them in that game. So they really don't need to perform that much better than they have been on offense to show up and cover the 4.5 points. So I'm going to take them to cover the 4.5 against Las Vegas. The Raiders are just not good. So with everything going on in Indy, it doesn't bother me. Next game, this is the last game I'm in on. Cowboys at Packers. So right now the Cowboys are -4.5 point favorites, or you could take the Packers +4.5. Give you one guess which side I'm on. We're picking against the Packers. Cowboys is a revenge game for Mike McCarthy. They're coming off a bye. Dak is another week healthier, another week kind of back in the system. Their defense, Dallas's defense, is good right now. They're third in the NFL in points allowed. Points against. They're fourth against the pass. Packers are like third against the pass, but that Dallas defense is pretty strong. And the offense is starting to get clicking, right, with Dak back, Gallup's back. I think Zeke might not be healthy, but Tony Pollard's been producing on the ground. And you got CeeDee Lamb, Dalton Schultz. Hopefully he's healthy. I haven't looked. Hopefully he's healthy coming off the bye. That Dallas offense just put up 49 on the Bears. Yeah, the Bears are a bad defense, but they just put 49 last week. The defense has been good. They're coming off a bye. I think they're going to be prepared to go out and play Green Bay. Green Bay, on the other hand, what's the argument for Green Bay? They just got beat up. Aaron Rodgers threw 3 end zone picks, and they got beat up on by the Lions. What's the argument that they're gonna get their season on track this week? I really don't. I don't really. Bakhtiari sucks now. Missed 2 seasons of injury. Now he just isn't even good. Their run game sucks. Their wide receivers suck. Aaron Rodgers sucks. I think it's a tough sell telling me that they're going to show up and compete. So I'm going to take the Cowboys to go in and cover the -4.5. I think they'll be able to score some points and stop the Pack from scoring points. Remaining games, Cardinals at Rams. Rams are -1.5 point favorites. Division game. Don't really like either side of it. Don't trust either team. I would take the Cardinals +1.5, but no point really getting involved in that kind of slop. Chargers at 49ers. This one I was tempted by. Right now, the 49ers are favored by -7. Now, the 49ers have been a hot and cold team. They could easily go out and play really good defense and run the ball and kill the Chargers. They could easily go out and lay an egg. They've been doing both this season. The Chargers, they can't seem to win games to save their lives or cover spreads, but +7 is a lot of points. And even without Mike Williams and Keenan Allen, Justin Herbert's a good player. Eckler's been playing really well. I wanted to take the Chargers +7, but I'm not going to do it. I can't. Looking at it now, I just can't do it. Moving on. So that was Sunday Night Football. Monday Night Football, last game, Washington at Philly. Philly is -11-point favored. They should be able to cover that, but I got burned once on a big spread. I think last time I said that, they ended up covering a big spread. I'm not touching a -11, not in a division game. Not going to touch -11. Washington might show up. Philly, they've been good, but I don't know. 11 points. Drop the phone. Now it's going to be all screwed up. 11 points is just a lot of points in the NFL, so I'm not going to do it. All right, so that's all I got for this week. Good luck.